So I'm Teddy Burriss, and this conversation is called Dream, Dream Out Loud, and Share Your Dreams with Complete Freaking Strangers.
10 first.
So let me tell you why you need to do this. In 2005, 2007, actually, I decided it was time for me to go do something different. I'd done lots of stuff in life, and it was time for me to make a change. And I didn't know what that change should be. I knew what I could do. I could have, those who know me, I could have went and been a high dollar IT consultant. And I had people who were willing to hire me to do high level IT consulting for big bucks. But if you see, I don't have a pocket protector. And as you hear,
we can get one for you.
As you hear, I am not an IT guy. It's not who I am. And so I had to figure out what it is that I need to go do. And so I went on a journey that I didn't know what it was until I got done the journey. And I'm going to share with you the journey I went on. And I'm going to give you some insights of how you can go on this journey yourself. And I'm going to absolutely encourage you with every ounce of my energy and every fiber of my being to encourage you, if you're truly looking for something to do, to make revenue, to get out of bed with a freaking smile on your face and a giddy up in your butt, because you're going to go do what you love to do, then I'm going to strongly encourage you to go through this process. Because this is how you get there. You don't get there by going to job fairs. You don't get there by going click, 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 pray, 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 beg, 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 looking for a job. How many of you are doing that now? And what's that getting you? You get to find out what it is that you really, really should be doing in life by going through this journey that I'm going to tell you about. So in 2007, 8, it was probably about 2008, I decided it was time for me to make a change. And by the way, here's how you know it's time for Teddy to make a change. My wife said, it's time for you to make a change. Because she knows me. I've been married for 38 years to this same woman, okay? And she's a saint, and she needs to be put in a home because she keeps standing out, hanging out with me. But my point is this: she knows me, and she knows me well. And every career step I've made, she said when it was time, right before I made it, it's time for you to make a change. And so I said, I'm going to go figure out what it is I really, really want to do. And I read a book a long time ago, and I can't remember the name of the book, but it was a book about dreaming. And it was a story about we should be dreaming in life. Let me ask this question. How many of you seriously, honestly, for yourself, sit back and just freaking dream? Just dream. Look, let me tell you, this is an important part of life. I don't care what you're doing in life, you have to dream. You have to think about stuff, wild stuff, bizarre stuff, freaky stuff about life. Think about ideas. Step one for this journey for you to go on is for you to really get out of your shell and seriously ponder and experience dreaming. You really have to do whatever you need to do to be comfortable dreaming. Maybe it's go hide in a closet. Maybe it's sit out on a patio with a glass of really, really fine cheer wine. Maybe it's turn on some music. Maybe it's sit in the woods. Maybe it's go for a walk. Maybe it's kick back in your Barca lounger. Anybody got a Barca lounger? I hear that phrase all the time. I don't know what they are. I do know they are. But whatever you need to be comfortable for you to really let your mind wander and think and dream. And here's what I want you to dream about. I want you to dream about ideas. What is it that if there were no limits, no preconceived bullcrap, whatever that's spelled, no thought about this, dollars, no thought about what people are going to say to you when you get an opportunity to do a job that you've never imagined, or no, they have never imagined you doing. I want you to dream about work that you would love to freaking do. No money, no preconceived ideas, no limits, no barriers. And I want you to dream about stuff that, imagine, again, there's no limits. So on your piece of paper there in the first column, I think I listed it as step 1. And I want you to take a few moments, and I want you to start this process. And I would like for you each to write down 5 things. No barriers, no limits, no preconceived ideas, no need for dollar.
Does everybody have the sheets?
I got one coming right here. Damien.
I gotta make more.
Here you go. Everybody have one? Everybody good?
There's 2 sheets.
We're good. We're good.
2 pages.
Think about it. I'm going to tell you, when I was thinking about this for myself, are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. When I was dreaming about this for myself, I started thinking about the things that if I was a kid, I mean, what did you dream about when you were a kid? For me, I started thinking about stuff like, I could be a fireman. What was it this morning? I had a conversation with a lady, and I said, you know, I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. Well, I don't even know what the heck that is now. I kind of do know what it was. Reagan fired them all. And that's why I wanted to go be it, because I knew they were going to hire her back.
That was an air traffic controller.
That's right, air traffic controller. Excuse me. Thank you.
No problem.
Oh, crap. I didn't have that on my list. I started thinking about all kinds. I wanted to be a fireman. And I wanted to be a dancer. I wanted to do ballet. Have you seen these women do ballet and stand on their toes for half an hour? I want to do stuff like that. I want to be a dancer. I want to be an opera singer. I want you to dream way outside of that proverbial freaking box. I want to be a pole dancer, Pat. That's how bizarre I want you to get. Because if you stay in this freaking little zone that you always stay in, guess where you will always be?
In that zone.
In that zone. And you'll never discover something that's outside of that zone that you never imagined existed. So write down 5 things that are absolutely way outside of your comfort zone. That if you had no barriers, no limits, no preconceived ideas, no need for dollar, what would that be? And be prepared to share. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I had a 2-page list. And you know, I want you, I'm just giving you this is just practice right now. Because if you really want to make this work for you, you really, really got to dig deep. And you got to think through stuff that you've never thought of. And that list has got to be big, bizarre, freaky. Way different than you ever imagined. I thought about being a politician for a moment.
Don't use the negative.
Yes, sir. Don't use the negative. No preconceived ideas, no barriers, no limitations, no desire about dollar. Don't worry about what your mom or your wife or your husband says. My list was 2 pages long. And here's another thing. If you really, truly are sincere with yourself about doing this process, when you're drawing this list out, it'll hurt. Because you'll ask yourself, why didn't I do that? That's not the point, but I am telling you, this is an emotional process. If you're sincere about going through this exercise, you'll go, why didn't I do that? It'll be one of those things. But we'll get you past that. Anybody have a few that like to share? Love to hear ideas.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Just give me 2.
Just 2. Greenhouse owner.
Greenhouse what?
Owner.
Owner. Cool. Greenhouse owner. In Colorado?
Rare cacti and succulents specifically.
Rare cacti?
And succulents.
And
other
succulents?
Yeah. Anyway, that's fine.
Tucson.
There you go. Somewhere out west, probably. Photographer.
Photographer. Cool. Cool. Anybody else want to share 1 or 2?
Writer.
Okay.
and not sure what you call it, but people who care for animals, rehabilitate animals.
Zookeeper.
Well, yeah, sort of like that, or,
Yeah, a vet. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
But here's the
something.
cool thing about that. You don't know what it means, and you don't know what's going on around that that might be something like, oh my God, that's what it is. Great. You see what I'm, that's
yeah. I
cool.
was thinking more like in terms of like wild animals that have been injured and,
Raptor Center.
yeah, like the Raptor Center
Yeah.
or big cats or bears
Animal
or
rehab.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else got one? Bruce?
Park ranger.
Park ranger? You just want the hat.
I love it.
Yes, sir.
Travel guide.
I'm spelling ranger wrong. I apologize for the writing. I can't. Travel guide, cool. Yes, ma'am.
Pilot. I've already jumped out of an airplane, now I wanna know how to fly one.
Cool. You put the horse before the cart?
Yeah.
Keeps you from jumping out of it.
And I want to take vacant shopping malls and turn them into farms to feed people.
I'm just gonna rewrite rehab property,
Yep. Repurpose,
repurpose dead
shopping
property,
malls, vacant shopping mall.
dead property.
Yep.
Anybody else got something way out there? Yes.
Pottery maker.
Pottery maker? You know, ghost wasn't real. Anybody else got something?
When I was a teenager, I used to read stories about the anthropologists that were working with primates to learn how monkeys talk and
Yeah.
sign language. I wanted to be the anthropologist, and I wanted a chimpanzee really bad.
I heard you say monkey psych.
That's what the American got the-
Yeah, you're doing it now. Richard, you got another one?
Moved to Florida to be a tennis instructor.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Be a tennis instructor.
Cool. Cool.
I've done that in my past life.
Look, here's what you gotta do. You've gotta really, really stretch your mind. You really have to stretch your mind to build this list and make it way out there. I joke about the pole dancing thing. I kinda didn't really wanna do that. But the reason why I use that analogy in lots of my conversations is to get you to do this. Stretch your mind. Stop thinking same old, same old, same old stuff. Okay? Think different. You guys have heard me, those of you who know me, you've heard me say I'm a freak. Why am I a freak? Unusual,
Because you'll say and do about anything.
unusual, unexpected, and unique.
And strange.
And I'm okay with being strange to people who love me. But I want you to think unusual. I want you to think unique. I want you to think unexpected. I want you to really stretch your mind. And if you're thinking this out and you're looking at job descriptions or you're looking at your old titles, you're not being fair to yourself. Look at the bear dude walker guys that climb up the mountains and take rich, actors. You know what I'm talking about? Climb the mountains and
Yeah,
bear
Bear
dude.
Grylls. Yeah.
Who comes up with this stuff? Who comes up with this stuff? People who dream. So find yourself some time to sit, and this is not maybe one sitting. This might not be 1 week. This might take months. Commit yourself to really stretch your mind and think way out there and come up with some ideas that you would never have thought about, that would be of interest to you, excite you. That if you could do that, if you could be that pottery maker, if you could be that monkey psych, if you could be that park ranger, what would that mean to you? How would you feel in the morning when that alarm clock went off? Would you feel a little different than doing the stuff that you have to do because somebody tells you you have to do it to pay the dang bills? Press yourself to build a list. No limits, no preconceived ideas, no thought of dollar. No barriers. Don't worry about what people think. So I started thinking through And I'll tell you, I failed at this miserably the first time. But I really started thinking, what could I do? And my wife says, babe, do what makes you happy. I'm like, well, I don't know really what that is. I like making big bucks. That's fun. But those of you who've heard me talk about what I have done in my journey, you know I used to, what was my thing I carried with me every day?
Drove it. Sold.
Ibuprofen, 500 count bottle of ibuprofen was my sidekick. I might have been making good money, but some of my clients gave me freaking headaches.
I was a nice client.
I know.
Until you
I mean, it wore me out. It wore me out. And that's not what I was. Number one step, dream. Dream far, dream wide, dream beyond anything you've ever thought of before. No barriers, critical. No limits, no barriers, no preconceived ideas. Don't think about dollar. This is a list that's going to help you get to where you should be. May not be what you be. At least I'm sorry, you might not be a monkey psych. Okay?
But you married a monkey.
That's not the point. This may not be what you get, but this is going to help you get somewhere.
Just neither one of them identify themselves as associated with.
Anybody got a question about that? It can, if you truly do it right, it can be a little emotional. It can be very enjoyable. It can like, oh my God, why not? Why don't I do that? Write it on a list. Whatever it is. Step 2. Step 2 is, I told you, you got to dream out loud, share your dreams with complete freaking strangers. Now this is the part that's going to freak you out. Anybody, y'all ready? Strap in, get ready. I want you to truly think about what you're thinking about. Take your ideas, and I want you to go meet people. And I want you to walk up to complete strangers, and I want you to say, hi, I'm Teddy. How you doing?
Good.
I've been dreaming, and I really want to share my dream with you. Do you have a minute?
Sure.
No, you don't. You're polite. It's not really what I want. Now, you guys think I'm a freak. It's not really what I want you to do, but it is what you will do. What I want you to do, those of you who heard me lecture, preach, rant, and rave about networking, this is why you need to network. Because what I want you to do is when you're networking, instead of asking for a job, which is not something that anybody has in their pocket, instead of asking them, for, where's the next recruiter or, that kind of stuff, ask them if, hey, you got a minute? I got this idea that I'm working on that I really would like to share it with you, and I just want to share the idea and get your thoughts. Is that something you'd be willing to have 15, 20-minute talk with me about? Just a wild idea that I'm working on. How painful is that to people who know you, trust you, respect you, care for you? Not hard at all to walk up to a complete stranger and just say, hey, I'm Teddy.
Hi, Teddy.
Can I share my dream with you?
Go for it, babe.
Isn't it the same thing? Isn't it really the same thing? I'm just using safe words. I can walk up to you and say, dude, I got some ideas I've been working on, man. Look, I'm going to change my tone up with this dude, okay? How you doing, man? I got some ideas I'm working on. Some weird stuff. I'd really like to share it with you and see what your thoughts are. Can we chat about that?
As long as it's not cold and it's.
It's Amway.
Look. Never be black and white and blunt about it, by the way, and very clear about, I'm not trying to sell a dang thing. I just want to chat.
Do you have somebody in your back pocket in case you need to get bailed out of jail?
Don't I always? Look, it's the same thing. Can we talk about an idea I have? It's not any different than I've been dreaming about something. I want to share that dream with you, see what you think. It's the same thing. I'm just using safe words. Smart words, maybe. So what I want you to do is when you're doing this networking, thank you. Instead of asking for a job, get into a conversation about ideas. You don't need to share your list verbatim with anybody. Just when you start, remember, if you hear me talk about networking, I say start with your inner core. You don't jump out and start networking with a stranger. Start with your inner core, people who trust, respect, care for you, maybe even love you. Then get introduced to that next person and that next person. But you start your conversations with people who know you a little bit and go, Bruce, you know, dude, 25 years IT, it's time for me to move on. And you role play me a little bit, Bruce, because you don't know me as much as this conversation might infer. But you know me well enough to know, there might be other things I could do.
Yeah, there's gotta be something out there, Teddy. You thought about it at all? Or?
Well, I have, and so I want to draw him in to the conversation. I don't want to spill all my beans, because if I tell him that I've been thinking about being a pet care professional, then he's going to start thinking that way. As a leadership coach, you don't tell somebody what you want them to do. You ask them enough questions, or you share enough information, you get them to think about it. So you'll ask me questions, and I'll share with him ideas or whatever, and I'll get his ideas or her ideas, their ideas. And I did this. It was late 2008, early 2009. I went out and shared my dreams with complete strangers. I started with my inner core, the people who I knew, trusted and respect. They trust and respect me. And in the process of networking, I got introduced to other people, and then other people, and more people. And this takes time. You got to be deliberate about it. The value proposition of networking is significantly greater than the value proposition of click, 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 pray, 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 beg, beg, beg. It's significantly greater value. Not saying you're not going to get a job here, but you know what you're going to get if you do this? Click, 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 pray, 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 beg, beg, beg. I'm going to still be carrying around the 500-count bottle of Advil because I will not explore any new ideas. I'll just apply for the stuff that I used to do. Does that make sense? And I didn't want to do that. So I went on a journey, and I don't know how I did this. I got lucky. I thought I'd lost it, but I found it in my Teddy Burriss @Gmail account. I live and die by my calendar. And in that old calendar is 102 conversations that I had with people. Various times, it was breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You've heard me say coffee, sweet tea, soda 30. I had 102 conversations with people on this journey. And ideas. And I will never forget, in this step 2, prepare to talk with people about my ideas. I'll never forget, I sat down over and over and over again, and they would go, so Teddy, what do you want to do? I don't know, dude, I can do all kinds of stuff. And I literally would swing my arms out like this. Over and over and over again in the conversation. What do you want to do? I can do all kinds of stuff. I'm just trying to find the one thing that I can do that I will enjoy beyond any other thing and still make some money. Enjoy beyond any other thing and still make money. And I could picture the one guy, a really good friend of mine. I was sitting and talking with him, and he said, so man, what are you thinking about? Like, I don't know. I flung my hands open, and I smacked the lady to the back of the head who was sitting on the table. And that's when I started to say to myself, I've got to take this journey of sharing these conversations with people and having this open discussion, and I got to start reining it in. I got to start taking things and move it off the priority list and start thinking about it and get some focus. But it starts with you doing your own dreaming, and then go talk with people and get their ideas. And when you're getting other people's ideas, you got to be very, very clear about these steps. During your discussions, guess what? No limits. No preconceived ideas. Do not disqualify anything. Everything goes on the list. Even if they say, pole dancing. Don't think about dollars. Don't let them think about dollars. Let them think about things, stuff, activities, stuff that they know you love to do. And let them give you ideas, stuff to consider. Disqualify nothing. Everything goes on the list. This is called brain fodder, mind fodder, thought fodder. This is not what you're going to do. But before you can go down this journey of having these conversations, sharing your dreams with complete strangers, you've got to put together a list of people to talk to. So why don't you spend a few minutes and write down at least 3 people that you could go talk to right now and share your ideas with them and get ideas from them. At least 3 people.
Teddy, do you mean here or do you mean just anybody?
Anywhere. Anywhere. When I went on this journey, I called people in the Philippines. I called people in Portland, Oregon. I talked to people in D.C. on the phone. I couldn't go run around the country. My wife said I don't have the money for that.
Well, maybe.
No money.
No, I'm not thinking about, but you got to be smart with money. you know, when you're thinking about what this stuff is, you cannot have any limitations, and dollars are limitations. You got to be smart about this, by the way. I'm not telling you to hop in a car and ride around the country. You have conversations with people in lots of different settings, and I not spent a lot of money on this. Every one of my conversations were pretty much over Starbucks coffee. You know, and as a gold carrying guy, I can sit in the Starbucks office for $1.75 a day.
Freebie. Bless you.
So does everybody have at least 2 or 3 names of people that they could go talk to and start this conversation? By the way, I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can come up with 6 or 7 names right now. 7 if we want to include my doppelganger, David.
So did you go to the fire department?
Did I go to the fire department?
Yeah.
They throw them out.
I got a pole there.
You need to create a list of people to talk to. And by the way, you know how hard it is to call somebody up and say, I want to have a conversation? It's hard. It is terribly hard. It's almost insurmountable if you're going to call them up and ask them for something. But if you're going to call somebody and go, I'd just like to have a quick chat with you. I would just like to hear some of your ideas. I'd just like to share some ideas and see what you got to think. I would just like to hear your ideas. I'm going to tell you right now, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm old. And more often than not, if I call somebody up and say, I want to get your ideas, they're open to do, most people are open to do that. What do you think? I promise you it's not hard to do. Do you know how you do that? Do you know how you make that happen? Practice. Practice. Go out on a limb. Call somebody up that you can, by the way, you start with people who know you, trust you, respect you. Are most of those people going to tell you to take a hike? Anybody got that answer? Let me know. I'll cover you. Most of the people who trust you, respect you, care for you will take the call. Fair? That's step 2. You have to be willing to have an open conversation. Don't lay it all out there. Give them some fodder, some ideas. Say, Richard, I'd just love to hear your ideas, man. You know me. You know what I've been doing. And the next person gets introduced to you, you got to tell them a little bit about you, who you are, a little bit about your history. Hear these words, a little bit about your history. Don't lay it all out there. That's freaking them out. You know, this is what I've been thinking about. These are some of the ideas. What do you think? I had some unbelievable conversations with people. I thought I was going to be an IT consultant. I got all kinds of wild stuff. And it fed into what I became. And again, I had 102. Now, I had a very deliberate process. I had the ability to spend 6 months working on this. My wife didn't think so. But it took me about 6 months. I was trying to make some money on the side. I went to work for Foresight Tech, made a few bucks. But I was a few bucks. Yeah. So, and that was one of my conversations. I'll never forget that conversation with that guy. He said, I can't hire you to do this. You don't have the word training on your resume. It was a dude I totally respect today, but that day I was a little snorty. But it was just part of the conversation, and I respect him for the conversation. because he shared with me ideas that I hadn't thought about. I never used the word training in regards to who I am and what I do. Blew me away when I heard that word. So really, again, I implore and encourage you to really put some effort into those conversations where you share your dreams with complete strangers, but use the safe words. You ready for number 3? Step 3. Look at yourself. And when I say look at yourself, I want you to take a deep dive. I want you to look at the stuff that you've done in life, the actions, the tasks, the processes, the little stuff, life stuff. I want you to look at stuff that you did working for people. I want you to look at stuff you did working with your family, raising your kids, in your backyard, in your garage. Start listing all the stuff that you have done that you were good at and that you enjoyed. This is important. That you were good at and that you enjoyed. And if you weren't really good at it, but you freaking loved it, is there a way for you to get better at it? Can you improve that skill? I want you to look at stuff like gardening, painting. I want you to look at stuff like, buying drapes, putting down hardwood floor, painting a chair, making a table. I want you to look at stuff like doing calculations. I want you to look at stuff like writing a project plan. I want you to look at stuff like doing a Gantt chart. I don't want you to look at titles. Screw titles. I want you to look at actions, tasks that you've done, that you enjoyed and were good at or could get better at it. And this little worksheet's just a simple worksheet. I didn't put that and can get better part at it. Why don't you go ahead and write down 5 things. Give you 2 minutes for the sake of your time. 5 things that you were really, really loved to do and you were good at. When I was writing down my list, I was thinking of even back in the past when I was a different time. I used to ride a trash truck, pick up trash in the morning. True story, and I'll tell the other half of the story is I used to deliver caskets just in time in the afternoon. True, tightest trash company in Baskerville Caskets. And I loved humping a trash barrel. That's what they called it, humping a trash barrel. Those things, you all seen them? You see, they're this freaking big around, they're this tall. You load them up with trash, you know what happens?
They get heavy.
This Teddy ain't getting them up. But back when I was 25 years old, man, I was on my back. I was tough. Seriously, I was tough. It's like, man, I'd love to hump a trash barrel again. I really thought about it. Man, it was fun. It was hard work. Stinky work. But, 6 hours, I'm done. It's like, man, maybe not. But that was something I really, really enjoyed. And it was just this is just fodder. These aren't answers. This is just fodder. Some of the other things I love to do is I love to read. I love to write. I love to write. Guess what else I love to do?
Yeah.
I love to speak. I love to share a message. I love to poke people and make them freaking think. So I started writing down that stuff. I love to work through ideas. I love spreadsheets. I love Google Docs. I do. I love formatting spreadsheets and make them freaking dance. I love software. I love the stuff that I'm all about today, social freaking media. Oh, I love WordPress, MailChimp. I wrote down all the stuff that I do and I'm freaking good at and love to do. So I want you to really dig deep. Who's got some ideas of stuff that they're really good at and love to do?
Problem solving.
Problem
training.
solving. I want you to really get deeper though. I mean, I'm good with problem solving. Anyone else got another one?
Supervisor.
Supervise and lead. Take the word supervise and turn it into something with some freaking impact. Lead. It's the same thing, isn't it? Maybe done a little bit differently. Who else got another one? Richard?
With photography, you tend to notice more about your environment that you're in.
So photog?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I know that. I got a daughter that just freaks me out when she says, Dad, did you see that? No, I didn't see it. What was it? It's like, here, I got it on the camera. Anyone else got something? Ham?
I like organizing.
Okay. I don't. Maybe I need your help. Yes, sir. Training people? Organize.
Fixing.
Fix? Kirk?
Painting.
Paint? Paint. Excuse me?
Develop.
Develop? Is that lead, grow, train, develop people? Let me tell you, it wasn't until I started being in this world that that made sense to me. Paint houses, people, cars, or furniture.
Automotive paint.
See, I kind of thought it was a little bit different than just painting a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate to paint. And I was at my office this morning at Cranky's, and the dude's painting the wall like this, okay? And it reminded me of why I hate to paint. Because the old guy I used to work for when I was painting this big concrete plant that had 30-foot walls, he would yell at me, get those blankety-blank railroad tracks down. You all know what railroad tracks are when you do a roller? It's a little line. That's why I hate painting. He yelled at me and yelled at me. Anybody else got something? Got an idea?
Building, a built garden enclosure.
Just
snow
build.
planters, yeah.
This list has to be 2 or 3 pages long. You got to dig deep of the stuff that you love to do. Don't think about dollars, don't think about money, no preconceived ideas, no barriers, no limitations. But you want to look at yourself and think about what's the stuff that I've done in life that I would love to do, that I love to do, that I'm good at or I can get better at. Richard?
Traveling. I've lived in other locations, just seeing other environments, other cultures.
Yeah.
living
Experience.
Yeah.
Experience life, yeah. One day I'll tell you about my BHAG. Right around the country in a 40-foot RV with a trailer on the back, Mini Cooper tucked up in it, and a 3-wheeler in the front. Traveling, yeah. Anybody else got something they love to do they're good at?
Direct sales, one-on-one.
One-on-one,
Like I-
consultative sales.
I worked at a gun shop, gun and coin shop, and I loved it,
You need to build this list. And look at the stuff you've done in life. Look at your old positions that you had before. And what do you do? Trash truck. I didn't really like delivering the caskets, so I'll tell you why another day. But, look at the stuff you've done in life, and what did you do in those jobs that you absolutely loved? Some of those jobs you absolutely hated. Anybody have a job you had in the life before that you absolutely hated? Oh, wait a minute, this is bull crap. Anybody in this room had a job before that they absolutely hated? I kind of thought it'd been more hands than 1 or 2. But I guarantee you there was something in that job that you did that you liked doing. But it just wasn't enough of it. Just wasn't enough of it. I'm a people person. I love to share messages with people. I love to get ideas. Write down all those things. And this is where you bring it home. You bring all this home, and when you take this list, or these lists, and you put them in front of you, and you look at the stuff that you have been dreaming about, that you could do, if you wish you could do. If I could get out of bed in the morning doing this, I would get out of bed in the morning singing. You look at the things that people are sharing with you, their ideas, their perspectives, their thoughts, their interpretations of you. And you look at all the stuff that you've done that says, I have skills, I have talent, I have passion, I have capability. And when you put all that in front of you, you start looking at yourself differently than you have in the past. You start looking at yourself and you go, wait a minute, here's an idea. Don't know how to make it happen, but here's an idea. When I went on this journey, had these conversations with people, and I met with my buddy who told me, you don't have the word training anywhere on your resume. The only dude who's ever asked me to have a resume, and you would know, you would believe that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he said to me, you don't have the word training. And I went back and did my deep dive, look at what have I done in life, and started building this list out. And I realized that I love to train. I love to write. I love to use social media. I love to be a speaker. I love to make people think. I love to poke people and challenge their thoughts. I love to be different. My mother called me a freak when I was a kid. I think she was saying it politely. And she was, because I was different. I'm unique, unexpected, unusual. And I started thinking about this, and I said to myself, why can't a 49, 50-year-old guy become a public speaker, a social media consultant? Why can't he be a trainer, a coach, a leadership coach? Why can't he be a developer? Why can't he? And I didn't have a reason why he couldn't. I knew I wasn't going to be able to make the money I wanted to make to begin with. But I also knew it was an area in my life, of stuff in my life that I love to do. So I told myself, with the help of my wife, get up off your butt and be that. If it's really what you want to do, once you put this picture together, and you see the stuff you're dreaming about, the ideas and perceptions that people share with you, the stuff that you've done in life, and you put this all together, and you realize you should be one of those things that we talked about, or something like that, then it's your responsibility for your own self-being to challenge yourself to figure out how to be that. Otherwise, you are totally disrespecting yourself. And that's how I became Teddy Burriss, social media consultant, strategist, LinkedIn professional, public speaker, proven author, blogger, columnist, world renowned. My buddy doesn't like me saying that, because I decided that I wanted to be what I discovered I could be. And I know every single one of you in this room, if you put yourself and truly care about yourself, to take yourself through this journey of dream out loud, and share your dreams with complete freaking strangers in a safe way, you're going to find out that you could be something that you never imagined. And if I can help you do that, you know how to find me.